How do you calculate the inflation rate, and how do you calculate a price index? Inflation gives us information on what's happening to all prices in the economy over time. If we see inflation in the economy, that means the price level has been going up. If we see deflation in the economy, that means that the price level has been going down. When calculating inflation and price index, we're going to have to create a market basket first. There are three types of inflation that we're going to learn about in this class: consumer price index, which is the most commonly stated type of inflation, producer price index, and the GDP deflator. These are three different types of price indices which give us different information about these groups. The consumer price index is made up of a market basket of about 500 different types of goods and services that consumers and households generally purchase. So this is going to be like cars, TV, education, clothes, food. Things that you and I generally buy are going to be inside of this market basket, and then we're going to look at the price of that basket over time. If the price has gone up, that means that consumers have experienced inflation. Producer price index is a different type of indice. It is asking the question, what is happening to the prices that producers have to pay? So this is yet again another market basket, but it has a different type of good in it. It has producers' goods in it. So what types of goods would be in the producer price index market basket? Things like assembly lines, factories, warehouses, raw materials. We also have our GDP deflator. GDP deflator is essentially all goods and services in the economy, regardless of who likes to consume them. So whenever we look at GDP deflator, we're looking at all of the economy. So C plus I plus G plus net exports. All right, so we're going to be talking about our consumer price index. Like I said, this is a market basket of about 500 different goods and services that consumers purchase. This market basket is a weighted average. This means that inside the basket, every single year, we will have the same number in units of each product. It's also important for us to remember that inflation is not a stagnant measurement. This is a dynamic measurement, so we need to look from one period of time to the next. So when we calculate inflation, what we're going to do is we're going to apply our percentage change formula to our price index. Okay, let's do an example of this. So we just have a very simplified market basket that has some fruits in it. Okay, I said it's a weighted average. What I mean by that is every single year, so 2001, we have 10 apples in our market basket. In 2002, we still have 10 apples in our market basket. In 2003, we still have 10 apples in our market basket, etc. So this is what we mean by weighted average. Every single year, the quantity remains the same for the number of goods in our market basket. So let's get started creating our market basket so that we can ultimately find out inflation over time. So to do this, what we need to do is for each year, we need to find out the total dollar amount of our market basket. To do that, we're going to multiply the quantity of apples in the market basket times the price of the apples in 2001, put that here, the quantity of the bananas times the price of the bananas in 2001, the quantity of the grapes times the price of the grapes in 2001, the quantity of the raspberries times the price of the raspberries in 2001. Now that we have the amount spent for the weighted number of each of these items, we will total that number. Go ahead and do that for all of these years, 01 through 04. Now that we have our totals, we're going to use this information to create our price index. So how do we create a price index? We're going to use a formula, which is total spending in year X. Year X means the year that we're interested in, the year that we're looking at, divided by total spending in the base year. The base year is always going to be given to you. How do I know which year the base year is in this example? 2003 is my base year because the price index is 100. Anytime you see an index number of 100, that means that specific year is the base year. So this year has been chosen, 2003 has been chosen as the base year. So the index number tells us relative to prices in 2003, what's happening in other years. So To get our index number for 2001, we're going to take total spending in 2001, which is $10.70. We'll divide it by total spending in our base year, which is $15.35, and then multiply that by 100. Please do that for all of these years. Okay? Now that we have our index numbers, we can finally calculate inflation. An index number less than 100 indicates that prices were lower in those years. An index number greater than 100 indicates that prices were higher. So to calculate our inflation rate, we're going to apply our percentage change formula to our index number. So inflation is from one year to the next. So when we calculate inflation for 2002, we're going to use our old index number from 2001 and our new index number for 2002 and plug those numbers into our percentage change formula to calculate our inflation rate. Now that we've plugged those numbers in, we see that from 2001 to 2002, we had a 30% inflation. From 02 to 03, we had 11% inflation. From 03 to 04, we had 6% inflation.